Hello, my name is Sheyi Fabiyi. I welcome you to my YouTube channel. I apologize for my being offline for some weeks. This was due to some pressing assignment I was engaged in. Today, we want to start a series of lectures on the capabilities of open source GIS software. But today, we want to look at the reasons why you should learn free open source GIS software, which we popularly refer to as FOSS4GIS. FOSS4GIS, free open source GIS software. Now, I'm going to advance five major reasons today, but we will look at. But there are so many reasons why you should, if you want to go places, if you want to gain traction, if you want to be able to participate in the next dispensation of the application of GIS, you should be able to learn at least and be proficient in at least one GIS software. So I'm going to look briefly at some of those reasons, and I will take you through uh, some of the capabilities of open source GIS software that are equally commendable and applicable just as the proprietary software. One of the reasons that is very, very critical, that very, very important, is that a free open source software is free. Just as the name is, it is free, that you just download and you use. Free open source software is at no cost, $0, zero naira, 0 cent. You download it, the only thing you use is your data to download, and you are free to use it. So one of the advantages of free open source GIS software is that it's at no cost to the user. So while some proprietary software like ArcGIS, Idrisi, Headers Imagine, and some of the popular GIS software, MapInfo, are very, very expensive. Some of them running into, if you want to buy you want to buy ArcGIS server in this part of the world, you'll be paying something close to $50,000. And if you want to buy single-use software, you are talking of about $3,000, $2,000. But you can get the same experience, the same application, the same functions and capabilities at $0. So one of the advantages of open source software is the fact that it is free for use, and you will not be engaged in what has been happening with most of those proprietary software, is that people tend to pirate it. People tend to break the code, break the license code, and use it. But you are not breaking any rule, you are not breaking any law by using open source software, and it has no cost to you. So cost is a major issue in the use, in why you should learn and adopt an open source software. The most popular open source software now is QGIS, Quantum GIS. That it is shortened for QGIS, and is now as popular as even some of these proprietary software. And I'm going to give you examples of some of the area where QGIS has even replaced ArcGIS in some capability and functions. So some of the functions that are extensions in ArcGIS, which you have to pay extra for, apart from the fact you buy ArcGIS maybe ArcGIS version 10 or 10 point something, you still have to buy spatial analyst, you still have to buy 3D analyst, but some of these things are available free under the QGIS. And so we are going to concentrate on QGIS in this lecture, subsequent lectures, where we are going to look at the capabilities of this QGIS, and we are going to look at the same capability in ArcGIS. And when we compare this thing, you see how easy it is to use it in the QGIS, in the user-friendly environment, and also at no cost, $0. So that's one of the advantages of using free open source GIS software. The second reason is that QGIS and most of the open source GIS software, though they started with coding component, you have to be very user unfriendly when they started on, but now they are now very user friendly. They are as user friendly as any of the proprietary software in the market. So, why before you are required to learn to know how to use some of the basic programming language like C++, like Visual C or Visual Basic, but now most of the proprietary software are now using graphic user interface of Windows, which is click and drop. So just as it's now easy to use proprietary software, it's also very easy to use free open source GIS software. So if you want to go places, if you want to gain traction, if you want to really go apply GIS in the next decade, you want to be a professional in GIS, you need to know at least one open source GIS software. And I recommend for you QGIS. I'm going to take you through some of the functions. We have been doing a lot about QGIS in the past, but see, I want to take you through some functions and capabilities of QGIS, and we're going to show you how they can do similar things that ArcGIS could do. The third thing of QGIS, why QGIS or free open source software is now the bride of the GIS practitioner, is that QGIS of open source GIS software are now the development industry prefers. It's being preferred by World Bank, WHO, UNDP. Most of these development partners, they don't want their grant to be used to purchase software, because proprietary software are very, very expensive, and some of them require yearly maintenance. Yearly maintenance that the user will have to pay again. You continue to pay every year. But once you download, even if you are sending update for the free open source software, you just delete what you have on your system, and then you download another one just to download, and then you start using it. So the only thing you need to learn how to use the free open source software, and then you are good to go. Another reason why you should learn free open source GIS software is that one of the advantages that proprietary software had before was that it had customer support. That is, once you have a challenge on the applications, on the functions, you can easily write to the customer support, and then they will answer you. But now QGIS or some of this free open source software, they all have community of users that respond promptly to your problem. One of the reasons why they are able to respond promptly is that they also might have encountered the same problem you have. And among the community of users, you will see one or two people that have encountered similar problem you have, and then they will tell you how they resolve it. But in the proprietary software, the customer support unit does not have the proficiency in all the functions. So when you send your request to them, send it to the technical unit, and the technical unit will respond. Sometimes it takes about 24 hours before they respond to your issues, but community of users is instant, because once you send the request to the community of users, they immediately respond, and that one will help you to develop. Another thing is that why it cost, the last one is that why it cost the proprietary software to a lot of money to develop a new features, a new application in their, or a new script or a new extension in their program. The community of users donate it freely to the pool. So while some of those packages that the proprietary software will place a cost about $2,000, $3,000 for you to have the extension, you can get new extension for free. And extensions are developed every day. New features are developed every day. New applications are developed every day. And you can get this thing for free on the application. So new development that comes on the free open source GIS software like QGIS, it comes for as free, while it costs the company a lot of money to add on features into it, an extension into it. It was just a plugin that can be developed by a group of developers, and then they donate it to the pool, and the pool is verified, and it is added as a plugin or as an extension. So it is very easy, and I can foresee that in the next decade or 2 decades, free open source software, even some of the proprietary software, will become free open source, because there will be no market for them if everybody decide to concentrate on the free open source software. So I will encourage you to adopt this technology free open source software. The next lecture, I'm going to take you through comparison between uh, QGIS and ArcGIS, and you see that we what you are paying for. I'm not going to destroy the market of proprietary software, but what I'm saying that in developing countries, especially in Africa, we can still have special decision support systems that are based on $0 open source packages, and then you will achieve the same result you will get even if you have adopted uh, GIS software. You know, the purpose of this YouTube channel is how we can implement GIS project with low budget, with very low budget, because we know that in Africa, most of our people have very limited resources to implement project. And with these limited resources, we will not use that money to purchase software, to buy proprietary software, but we still want to participate in spatial analysis based decision making. And that's the focus of my channel. I welcome you to subscribe to my channel, so that when a new video comes, you'll be alerted. The next few lectures, we are going to compare, we are going to make a comparison between the features in QGIS and the features in ArcGIS. And you are going to see that you have been wasting your time, spending your energy on proprietary software. I know what has been happening is that people used to break the license code, people used to pirate the product, people used to break the code for the license. It is unnecessary, because you are not going to break any law if you learn how to use QGIS. You just download. You are not going to buy copyright law if you use QGIS or any of the open source GIS. But by the time you are engaged in criminal activities, by the time you are breaking the code of some of those proprietary software, and the law can catch up with you. Thank you for listening, and I welcome you to the second edition, which will come up in the next 2 days or 4.